Guess who got brands talking? Brandlive.co.za.
Hello, fashionistas. Welcome to this week's edition of the Fashion Blueprint, coming to you from Brand Live in Melville, 27 Boxes. My name is Vanya Mangaliso. Happy Friday. Happy Black Friday. Very happy to be here. I'm not rolling alone with my better half, my partner in crime. How are you, Scully?
Hey, yes to all the radio people listening out there today. Coming live and direct to you from the Fashion Blueprint at Brand Radio Live. Like you were saying, so much hype, so much expectation. Everyone is going crazy. It is Black Friday after all, and our favorite day of the week. What about you, my babes?
Well, it's a great day. It's quite an honor and a privilege to be here talking fashion. The show is really strictly fashion. It is the voices of fashion. We're talking to the fashion players. We want to know, how are you doing it? How are you rock styling it in your world? And today being Black Friday, it's one of those days. It's my favorite day of the week. Nothing can get me down. I own Fridays. I really love Fridays. But top of our minds, it's Black Friday. And as traders, as commercialists, as entrepreneurs, we're looking forward to it. We're excited because this is what everyone is talking about. There's so much going on. It's the talk on everyone's lips.
Yes, the Black Friday hype, as we were saying, so many people. Expectations are high, but we've got to talk about what Black Friday is. Do we all know what Black Friday is? Do we have the same understanding as to what Black Friday is, and what are the origins of Black Friday?
Well, Black Friday is exciting because it's a day where commercially it sounds like a win-win situation where people get to buy things they need at half the price or even 70% off the price. And retailers get to move goods, so it does sound like a win-win situation where it sounds like a perfect market equilibrium. Some move, sell, some acquire things, and with Christmas so close, you've got fashion will be one of the most traded goods at this time, and that is why we're interested in it. And remember, as fashion entrepreneurs, the goal is how much can we take our contributions higher in terms of the GDP? How can we contribute? How do we grow jobs in fashion? If people are going to be consuming so much fashion at this time of the year, how much of that how much of that money remains in South Africa? How many jobs are created? And also, in that money that remains in South Africa, how much of that is going to your local independent designers? The small guys. And that is our interest in it. So a day like this where you're trading so much fashion, so many goods, we want to know, are you participating? Do you like it? Do you think it is a good idea? Do you even know what Black Friday is? Do we share the same understanding of what Black Friday is?
Yes, Black Friday with all the hype. I think let's just go back to the top of the list and discuss just for 1 second what the origins of Black Friday are. As I said before, do we have the same understanding as to what Black Friday is, and how does it impact in terms of what is happening in South Africa and what is happening in the world? I'm not sure if you know, but Black Friday was a day where it dates back to the days of slavery, basically, where the slave owners would be selling their slaves at a third of the normal price on the last Friday of every November. Now, obviously, the slave trade comes with a lot of pain. It's a very dark part of our history as in humanity. But I think it is important for us to highlight, this. And as much as we're not happy about it, and it's dark, but it's very important that we understand what the day basically means.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a lot of pain and a lot of gain. If you take the emotions out of it and you think it was actually a very brilliant sales promotion of the time. I'm always amazed at how sophisticated some of these systems were as far back as then. And obviously no disrespect to the fact that we're saying that, they were trading people, as we're saying. As an entrepreneur, it's like, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. But, as a parent, as a social historian, as a humanitarian, it just sounds like trouble. The first thing that comes to mind is also caution, that it's something to stay away from. But it is a reality I remember being in a place like London around about the 26th of December.
Of December, when they would have the sales, London, Paris, Amsterdam, sales were very, very real, where things moved from 100% to 30%. There'd be absolute chaos in the streets, both the consumers and the shop owners salivating, discussing this win-win situation, where everyone is getting what they need and stock moving.
So sure, like as a way of even generating awareness, as retailers, we had, we're participating in it, and I think our real interest in it today is, should we participate in it the way it is? Should we rebrand it? Because I think, there is a lot of good, like we say, certain things you just can't wish away, and they do have their uses. As in, it's a good way of stimulating sales, generating revenue. Talking like from the fashion, from a business point of view, and something that, as you can imagine, to generate sales and to maintain them, it's an ongoing preoccupation for any retailer. It's something that
you can never do enough sales and promotions. Sales and promotions are the backbone of what we're doing. You're trying to get the brand out there. It drives people to the shop. You might be meeting clients that would never have walked into your shop. How do you keep in contact with them? It helps with research, and it also helps with the cash flow of your business.
No, of course, there's something quite magical when you have that interaction with your customer, especially for us who make clothes, like, when it's more lifestyle. But I think it's in any business. The fact that it's an opportunity to, even if people don't necessarily come and buy, the fact that they come and they tell you what they need, they you've got that contact, for as a producer of goods, it's the kind of contact that you rely on, that direct research that you wouldn't get. You can't rely on somebody else to give you that, and therefore I think maybe it's worth actually exploring Black Friday a little bit further. What is so good about it? I mean, you do have the other side of it, where I hear people went on taking leave, which is not good when it impacts now the productivity of the country.
Only in South Africa.
People are taking leave quite irresponsibly to go to Black Friday. Yeah. People are buying things they do not necessarily need, but people would do that anyway. But maybe even as people, as entrepreneurs and as traders, we do have a level of responsibility. And I'm not saying that stop people when they come to shop and say, no, you don't need this. But I just think as terms of an overall message of our community, our responsibility to the community, that, there must be that ongoing thing about how people manage their finances. Not to say that, not to isolate Black Friday on its own and fashion. And the fact that you got people going to take loans for things they don't need. But it's not exactly like your bank manager is going to be like, is this for Black Friday?
But because we are about the business of fashion, I think everyone in fashion must take advantage of this opportunity. Like we were saying, we're asking all young entrepreneurs, all people that might feel as if they're not quite in the mainstream of business, how do you get involved in such a wonderful event? People have literally sharpened their teeth. They want to buy.
Well, even as a small a designer, I imagine if you're sitting in your studio, what is stopping you from sending an email and WhatsApps to your customers? Tell them what you have, and you ask them to come buy it at Black Friday prices. Or if they book it, even small things like they can book the item on the day, even if they're gonna pay you end of the month. You make do. At least it's sold, and that you've got money. But obviously these are things that take time. You develop those relationships with the customers, but it does not mean just because you're not in a shop or in a mall or online, strictly, you cannot participate. You can participate. Even my kids were Black Fridaying today, thinking they should get more for things they're doing because it's Black Friday. They should get double.
And I think that's the beauty about social media. It is free. It helps young brands crossing paths with other people that they would never have crossed before. And, just really looking at the value, taking the picture, taking the time. And I think more importantly, as much as Black Friday has sort of sprung upon us, we've known about this for the last few weeks. And with the right preparation, that's when you're able to maximize the impact of a day like today.
If you think as an entrepreneur, It's Black Friday, but it's Thanksgiving in America. It's also part of the the global calendar where Americans celebrate Thanksgiving every once a year.
Yes, the 24th.
24th of
23rd of November.
Of November, and it's really the drive to where people feel like there's a lot of goodwill. You are giving, the retailers give things cheaper, you get things that you want or don't want.
I think it also is the springboard that launches into the festive season as well.
Sure.
Remember, this is the first big sale before
Christmas.
And from here going forward, everyone is going to be doing some sort of promotion, and you'll see a lot of people, on the advertisements on TV, radio. Everyone is selling you something, especially the cell phone shops,
and
which I think do wonderful.
Yet again, as a small independent entrepreneur, with Christmas coming up, are you going to gain a bit of money? We had Fashion Week seasons, as we said last week, where lots of designers showcase their new ranges. Well, those who have stores, fortunately, you take your range and you quickly put it in the store. If you don't have a store, how do you do it? I mean, obviously, there are lots of ways of doing it. We want to know: do you send out a catalog? Do you send out a catalog to your customers and you ask them to order, or do you produce stock and you say, listen, this is what I've got? And will your sales spike in the Christmas season? Do they? I mean, I know from 17 years of retail experience when our best month is, and you'd be surprised.
Well, it is part of December, and as before we got here, we were downtown in Market Street looking for fabrics for our clients, and all the fabric shops were busy. I think grassroots fashion is very, very busy and very, very exciting at the moment. People are trying to finish those Christmas orders, and as part of Black Friday, I had a young entrepreneur saying that people are trying to Black Friday him on custom making, and I was like, no, they can't. They must buy as is. How can a young guy give something at 50% off if he's going to custom make it from scratch? It's crazy, but
well, these are the things that I think as a young entrepreneur you should take time. Well, especially strictly fashion speaking, take time to explain to your customers. I remember when we started, I think I mentioned this, I'm going to mention it a lot of times, that you need that consumer awareness. You need people to move with you. Just because we understand certain things, we cannot, in our world, our industry, our cost structures, we cannot take it for granted. To a customer who walks in and sees a green skirt size 32 at 200 rand, they don't understand why if they want it in blue they must pay 400. They don't. You know why they must pay 400, and it really takes time. The difference you're mentioning, that one is custom making and one is off the rail. So back to Black Friday, you cannot go to your favorite designer and say, make me this 10,000 dress at 5,000 today because it's Black Friday. I suppose you can always ask.
You can
but
always ask,
it's not fair.
It will be a Black Friday for your designer. They're going to be losing money, and we're all about sustainability.
We can always guide. One of the things that we work on the council as one of the contributions is that we need to standardize pricing in South Africa and sizing. Help the designers, help also the consumer to know what they can pay for. Like a designer who's been in the industry for 10 years, what can you expect to pay for a skirt? Whether it's an evening skirt or a skirt you wear to work, you'd like to get an idea. It doesn't mean that the designer cannot charge you as high or as little, but we're talking price, guys, and it's not price fixing. No, we don't fix prices in fashion. But what we are saying is, because our industry is relatively new, things like price, like the same way we still need to go back and say, what is a South African small? A South African small is not the same as a Chinese small. It's not the same as a UK small or a large in America. You're talking different proportions. Not only are you talking width this way in America, you're talking. So it would be good to have a standardized South African size guide, like we're talking. We're going to do the same with prices. So yes, don't go asking for ridiculous things from designers, because they half the time they do take those deals because they're so happy and they want you to get going, which is a good idea, but long term it's not sustainable. And even if you do get a discount, always at least find out what you should have paid. I think you owe it to the person that gives you the discount, and also so you make better decisions next time, and we support the industry and grow jobs, which is what it's about. How do we sustain creativity?
brandlive.co.za
feel me. Without you, good. Just wanna be your girl. All alone at night, I harbor feelings for you, holding my pillow tight. Sometimes I even touch myself, imagining your pleasure, baby. Next time I see you, I'm gonna walk right up to you and say what's on my mind. I gotta make you see this is then just a silly cry. Wonder if you even notice me. You gotta feel me. Without you, good. Just wanna be your girl. Wonder if you even notice me. You gotta feel me. Without you, good. Just wanna be your girl. I wonder if you even notice me. Ooh, you gotta feel me. I would love you good. Just wanna be your girl. Wonder if you even notice me. You gotta feel me. Would love you good. Just wanna be your girl. I wonder, you gotta feel me. I would love you good. Wanna be your girl.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
Nothing like a bit of R&B just to get our day going. That was our girl Tidra Moses, Be Your Girl, from her album Ketrada Edition.
Yes, welcome back to Brand Live. It's the blueprint. It's a fashion blueprint. Strictly fashion, talking fashion.
Business of fashion. And today our topic is everything that is Black Friday. The hype, the excitement, the tension, the buying, the selling, and more importantly, how as designers are we going to be able to maximize and capitalize on this opportunity?
Well, I think, we you're calling it an opportunity. I think we have agreed that it is an opportunity, yes, or is it? We've listed the good and the bad. Everyone knows. I mean, the good, the prices, the plan, the fact that, as a retailer, you're not talking to your customers. You get, you're raising awareness for your brand, and you can never have enough. You can never do enough marketing. As they tell you in your marketing 101, that it's like advertising. It's something you continue to do. And as they say, if nobody knows you have a business, you don't have a business. That's how important marketing is. You know, they go on to say that. So we know the good about it, about Black Friday, and it sounds like we must keep it. But if it's something to keep, what is bad about it, so that we know what to do? How do we then how do we rebrand it? Because that's where how do we make it work? Because my whole thing also is you can't fight these days. Something like Christmas, you take a country like China. I bet China makes the most money around Christmas, even though they're probably not Christian at all. They there aren't that many Christians in China.
Well, I mean, if you think about Christmas itself, it's about slowing down. It's about coming together. It's about family. You know, people are going to want to spend because they are together. You're going to want to eat things and have a lovely meal. So, as much as it is a Christian holiday, which is celebrated by Christians, I think the fact that it involves family, people identify with that and are going to celebrate accordingly.
I think also with all the troubles and the sadness and the pain in the world, anything that makes, like you say, that makes people stop, that encourages goodwill, is to be encouraged. You know, people are in just the best of moods around Christmas, from the way they dress, and so designers must make money from December fashion. It's called resort wear, the kinds of things you'd wear when you go to some of South Africa's best resorts.
Yeah.
The Wild Coast, well, there's plenty. I just thought of the Wild Coast, back to my childhood days. Yes, so you can't fight it. There is a lot of good, like we say, from just like an emotional point of view. Things slow down. It's also a wonderful period where people tend to regroup in their lives. They
and gather as well. Families gather.
They gather. They
celebrate
think,
weddings.
They think of going forward. It's a time when families get together. Yes, we do a lot of work in the wedding business space, and we understand all about dates. How important it is to get everyone together. People culminate, so it's a good thing. We even have friends who are not Christian, but who are very religious in their own kind of faith. But when it comes to Christmas, the mood is there. I think they even exchange gifts.
No, everyone exchanges gifts.
You see, so it's
important.
something
It's
that
a
is
universal
wonderful
thing,
to be encouraged. So I think I look at Christmas the same way then as I look at Black Friday. That you gotta, I suppose, take what you can out of it. Take what you can use, and if it's something that's going to encourage sales, don't fight it. Like you're not going to fight globalization, don't fight Black Friday. However, I think it's also an opportunity to create awareness to the kids, especially, that today's Black Friday is about sales, but these are the origins. Also a wonderful opportunity to talk about those painful things in the past, not in a judgmental way, not in just to state them as facts, as historical facts, that these are the origins of Black Friday, and you bring awareness, and so we can instill a sense of
you know what, I think it's very
also
important.
Innovation in our kids.
I think it's very important to understand what is going on. It is a painful past. It is a bitter past. Understanding is very important. And can I tell you why it is important? Because guess what? In Sudan right now, I was watching CNN the other day. In Libya, Sudan, Chad, the slave trade is still continuing, And it was just like, you think things like that are over.
The nastiest throwback.
Yeah, and you see people literally selling one another's brothers and sisters, selling one another's to other people, You get a slave trader going, good strong farm boys, and people just start bidding. It was just shocking. I thought that was in the past, but it's still alive and well. So, if we get greater understanding, we're able to make sure that we don't go back to those same mistakes. And that's what it's about,
We take the techniques that worked, like those promotions from Black Friday. I mean, that's one thing that we must take. Like we say, also education happens in many different avenues. Somebody will learn about history through a commercial adventure. They love a fashion. All they wanted to do was go get new shoes, and suddenly they will be aware that they learn about slavery. And I think that nothing must ever be swept under the carpet, but also there's so many things we can learn, like we say, commercially ingenious. You can never advertise enough, and the same thing. So now what happens going forward, it's really a way of thinking. So if you're going to participate in Black Friday, what about Christmas? What about Valentine's Day? Yes, Christmas, Valentine's Day, all these things. It's really about people celebrating the romance of life. Not necessarily romance between two people, but the romance of life, the possibilities, the thing of hoping, endless possibilities. You wanting more. You taking time to live in the moment. And if you can gain from it, if you be part of Black Friday, because everyone else around you is a bit of a Black Friday, and can you make money from it? And that's what we're saying. And maybe we rebrand it in our own way, the South African way. How would they do it in Nigeria, for instance? I'd love to know how Nigeria is celebrating Black Friday. I think Nigerians have become very good at customizing. Nigerians and Chinese are very good at, I look at those two countries and these now people are very good at customizing things so they work for them. So as South Africans, we've got one of the most developed economies in Africa. We're the gateway into the continent. Here's a great opportunity to sell things. How do we rebrand this day? I know that the perception out is that people buy things that I don't need, but I need a new cell phone. So I don't think it's a bad idea for me to go. If somebody tells me, say, hey, listen, on a Black Friday, my cell phones are half price. I think I would make quite a good saving. And they get an opportunity to get rid of stock. And I walk into the store. Then I'm aware of other products I wouldn't have been aware of otherwise if I hadn't gone in. So yes, we're talking rebranding. We're talking looking ahead towards Christmas. Are you going to participate in Christmas? How much of your Christmas spending are you going to spend locally towards a local design? How much of your bonus will guarantee that some people have jobs?
I think that's very important because
next year,
the backbone of the economy is coming from small to medium enterprises. Design is very, very important and it employs a lot of people. If you think from a retail point of view, from the people that are sewing the clothes, it's also the one industry where you can take an individual who's got no skill and within 3 months they're able to, sew, they're able to, make and create for themselves and have a sustainable job as a sewer or a beater or something like that. So we are, saying to all the public out there, please come and support your local designers.
Yes.
And I think more importantly, designers, if people are going to come and show, show support, let's be serious, let's be professional. Someone must not buy your clothes just on sentiment alone. Sentiment does not sell because you need repeat business. Repeat business is the core of any business.
It's true. I think practically, people say that repeat business is the core of any business. Just a small example, it is a lot more expensive to try and communicate a message to new people all the time than calling your same client and saying, hey, remember we did this last time? Guess what? Now we're doing this. Really, it just starts there. And it's also good to be reliable, to be the go-to person.
Yeah, you can convert the converted, but the unconverted is a different story altogether.
And I think also as fashion entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs too, we have a huge responsibility to our consumers to bring them along. We live in this world. We understand. We're immersed in it on a daily basis. And I think it is nice to share and also understand that not everyone sees it the way we see it. So it's really great to have an opportunity to discuss these things. We look forward to hearing from you. Brand Live is the fashion blueprint, strictly speaking fashion. We'd love to hear from you. Check us out on social media. Check us out on our own social media. Come visit us in Sandton at our store. Come say hello. We're at Nelson Mandela Square, Legacy. In fact, Madiba has a new friend there. They've put a lovely statue from UNICEF. So it's something to come see. When you're doing your Black Friday, come to Sandton, come visit.
Live and direct, Fashion Blueprint, every Friday, 12:30. Just wanted to say thank you for all the listeners, for listening to us, and hope to see you soon.
Let's grow this.